Press. CJ. Yeah, what we talking about? 94 feet, crossover bodies, dropping J's up. Players, this elite, your shots on body blocking halftime. We break it down, we gon' call your bluff, it's past time. You recognize, boy, press. We got the heat down in Florida with the keys. Yes, we the best. Magic, we flash with them fans, listen, won't see the best. Show rides from the airwaves like all stars in them stairways. Local rockin', we not stopping, got hot topics like every day. Them trades hit that deadline, my team chasing the big range. We ball, check that headline. Don't mess it up when you pick teams. The only station giving y'all that info with that real talk. Don't be trying to contest it. Go toe to toe and get wheeled off. We shooting from deeper than that report from the bleachers. If you ain't on your game, then we got something to teach you. Tie your laces up, might get shook up out of them sneakers. That triple threat, bless your eardrum straight out of your speakers. Go from that black top to the hardwood. Locker room to that press day. Got the scoop on them contracts, new prospects and best plays. NBA defined by the grind in between the lines. Full court pressing, finessing, reading signs. What we talking about?
What's up, everybody? This is Danny Thompson for AroundTheAssociation.com, and this is the Around the Association, the podcast. It is the Monday before the NBA season edition of the podcast, and it's kind of a dual 15-minute podcast. We're going to update you on the NBA playoff standings. At the same time, we'll talk about the Final Four all in the 15-minute period. So the NBA takes the entire day off on Monday with the with college basketball's national championship game going on tonight in Minneapolis between Virginia and Texas Tech. The NBA takes the night off because there's 2 nights left in the season. So before we start talking Final Four and what to look for in tonight's game, let's talk about the NBA playoffs itself. Well, the NBA Eastern Conference playoffs, the Western Conference has been locked in with the seeding for the last about a week or so. Now, the Eastern Conference is just down to 1 playoff spot. So this is 1 is the magic number, and also 1 is the loneliest number for some teams. The Detroit Pistons, Miami Heat, and Charlotte Hornets are all still left. As we get close to the NBA season, only 1 playoff spot left for 3 teams. The Brooklyn Nets and the Charlotte Hornets the Brooklyn Nets and the Orlando Magic can now say welcome back to the playoffs. The Orlando Magic ended the 7-year drought by clinching a playoff spot last night by really not having anybody else lose, even though Miami did lose yesterday. They took matters in their own hands by taking care of the Orlando Magic 116-108 on the road in TD Waterhouse on the TD Waterhouse Garden on Sunday night. So there's more information about that game if you want to learn more about what happened on AroundTheAssociation.com. But the Magic are now in the playoffs. It's something that Magic fans in here have been waiting for years to see. It's been the culmination. The team hasn't made a playoff since Dwight Howard walked out the door. The trade for actually Nikola Vucevic almost 7 years ago. Now the Magic will have a playoff game. The question is, where is the seeding? They'll host games 3 and 4 here at Amway Center in the upcoming couple days. So really, the Magic came in there. They went into Boston. They handled their business. They didn't need to reply to anybody else. And also the Brooklyn Nets are welcome back into the playoffs. It's been a drought for them as well, too. I think it's since 2015 they haven't made the playoffs. They took care of a short-headed Pacers team that Coach Nate Miller pretty much had a lot of their guys on a minute restriction. But you have to give them a lot of credit because they Saturday night they had lost to Milwaukee in a game without Giannis on the road. They took care of business last night. They beat the Indiana Pacers last night by the score of 108-96. D'Angelo also had 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists to lead the Nets as they clinch the playoff spot. So, the Brooklyn Nets and the Orlando Magic are tied in the standings. But remember, the Nets do own the tiebreaker over the Magic. So right now, the Nets are at 6, the Magic are at 7. The 3 teams behind them are at 8. We'll go over them in a second. Now, here are the scenarios for either team. As far as getting the 6 go. Real simple. Brooklyn needs to win the final night of the season against the Miami Heat, and they'll control 6, and that means they'll be playing the Philadelphia 76ers, who clinched their spot yesterday thanks to the help of Orlando Magic. The Sixers are now 3. The Magic, in order to get to 6, is really simple. All they have to do is win against the Charlotte Hornets and get a Nets loss on Wednesday night, which is the final night of the season. And then, if not, Orlando and the Toronto Raptors will be playing first-round matchups. And the Magic will have to go play in one of the hardest and toughest environments in Game 1, which is in Toronto. So let's talk about the final seed in the playoffs. The Detroit Pistons have a magic number of 1. It's real simple. The Pistons have to win one of the final 2 games of the season against the Memphis Grizzlies and the New York Knicks. Sounds great in concept, but Blake Griffin's knee injury is worse than what it's been let on. It's not to the point where if he plays, it's going to get worse. Griffin's going to need surgery at the end of the season to try to get this thing cleaned up. As this is going on, the Pistons have been tail spinning. They've lost their last 4 games, and with them losing to Orlando on Sunday, it only puts them a game in front of both Miami and Charlotte, with both teams literally having with the time running out. So it's real simple. All the Pistons have to do is win. They have to win one of the 2 games, and everything is over. Now, if the Hornets, who play the final night of the season against, like I said, against the Magic earlier, take care of business on Wednesday, and Detroit loses both games because they own the tiebreaker, Charlotte goes into the playoffs over Detroit. Other scenario is the Miami Heat. They're down to Dwayne Wade, to quote Dwayne Wade's final season, they're down to their last dance. The Heat he had 2 chances to win over the weekend. Dwayne Wade's shot fell short on Friday night against Minnesota, and then they lost in overtime to the Raptors yesterday. The Heat are now 1 game behind, and their season's in danger. The way Heat make the playoffs is real simple. They're going to have to get a ton of help. Help is not going to be the word in this right now. How this is going to work? Well, Miami now has to win both games. They're going to have to get Charlotte to lose a game, and they're going to have to get Detroit to lose both games. It's really it's an interesting scenario, but the time is running short in Dwayne Wade's career, and you got to give not the stretch in those games, but the Heat have a minimum impact left for the playoff chase, and so what's left is literally having to have they're playing Orlando, Memphis, New York, and themselves having to get it together and play one more time to help Wade get to one more playoff hope. So the playoffs, a ton of help to get themselves in the playoffs for 2019. So now, like I said, once again, to recap, let me go ahead and recap everything right now. Miami's hopes are literally facing an extreme amount of long odds to get in there. What has to happen is Detroit has to lose the final 2 games of the season, and Charlotte has to lose one of their final 2 games of the season. Charlotte has Cleveland and Orlando. And that's what's going to happen. Now, what's going to happen is if Miami and Charlotte tie, Miami has the tiebreaker over Charlotte due to a division record. That's just how this works. If Detroit loses both games and Miami wins their final game, then, well, Detroit goes to the playoffs. Detroit is going to need Charlotte to help themselves out the door. That's all they have to do. It's a little bit of a long shot, but hey, it's real simple for the Heat. And they're going to need everybody to give them a hand. Like I said, Cleveland's going to also have to help out as well too. Charlotte's way of making the playoffs is real simple. You win your final 2 games, Detroit has to lose 1. Detroit has to lose both, and Charlotte has to win both. Charlotte has to control their own destiny by winning both games. The more pressure you put on the Pistons, who are struggling right now, the better. All they have to do is just make sure that they can get into a virtual tie. Detroit, they just have to win 1 game. It's real simple. You win 1 game, you're in. And that puts them in the playoffs. And also, Detroit, with 42 losses right now, 41, they're going to have to get a little bit of help from Charlotte to jump ahead of Orlando in the standings. So, but that'll be a scenario we'll talk about, as we get closer to Wednesday, because there'll be more information, more playoff scenarios. But the immediate scenario is Tuesday night. Detroit has to win. Detroit wins and eliminates everybody else. If Detroit loses and Charlotte wins and Miami wins, this playoff situation gets even more interesting as we close to Wednesday night. So that's part 1 of the 2-part podcast for the day. Part number 2 will be up later on this morning. We'll be talking about the Final Four with Virginia Tech and Virginia. So I know this podcast is Eastern Conference related, but really this last playoff race we have going. We do have awards coming out on the website all week long. All NBA, my choices for all the MVP awards. Sorry about the delay with the Unsung Hero Awards. They're all going to be coming out this week as well, too. So, catch me later on the podcast. Like I said, it's a no game day in the NBA. So, we'll be catching up a lot of stuff today and also getting some stuff talked about today. So, we'll catch you guys later on AroundTheAssociation.com or Around the Association podcast. Catch you guys later. Peace.
Full court pressure. CJ. Yeah, what we talking about? 94 feet, crossover bodies dropping J's up. Players, this elite, your shots on body blocking halftime. We break it down, we gon' call your bluff, it's past time. You recognize, boy, press. We got the heat down in Florida with the keys. Yes, we the best. Magic, we flash with them fans, listen, won't see the best. Show rise from the airwaves like all stars in them stairways. Local rockin', we not stopping, got hot topics like every day. Them trades hit that deadline. My team chasing the big rings, we ball, check that headline. Don't mess it up when you big teams, the only station giving y'all that info with that real talk. Don't be trying to contest it, go toe to toe and get real.